How you going there? Silver Fox here again. The other night I gave you a preview on the Anthony Mundine Danny Green #2 fight, so it's only natural that I'll give you a review after the fight. Sorry it's a little bit too late. Oh, not too late, but a little bit late. But big night last night. Had work today, so I've just found some time now. First we'll start off with the card. Not much. I didn't really expect much from the card, as boxing promotions in general have a bad habit of having extremely poor cards. The Maloney boys, although they're affiliated with Danny Green, they both fought Filipino taxi drivers. Quade Cooper, he fought a taxi driver not a taxi driver, some guy they'd found in a pub somewhere. And young Tim Zhu was on the card, which was really good. He is the dead spitting image of his father, and his style is pretty much exactly the same too. Only he's a few weight divisions up from his dad Costa. He should do well if he's brought along all right. But other than that, the card was absolutely, the only card was horrible. So we'll get into the fight now. Anthony Mundine came out and he controlled the fight for most of the fight. He had an effective jab. He never really looked troubled from Danny Green. He moved around well. Danny Green looked very very flat, very slow. He gassed very easily any time that he would throw a 3, 4, 5 punch combo. He would spend the next minute gassing and throwing maybe 1 or 2 punch combinations. Look, yeah, I'll tell you from my experience in boxing, you get robberies at every tournament, amateur tournament you go to, in particular, and what you've seen, last night, Friday night, was a bad case of possibly, I believe, possibly corruption. How 3 judges can judge that fight and not one of them finds Anthony Mundine the winner it's beyond comprehension. And I'm saying that as a Mundine fan, but that's not just as a Mundine fan. You had Danny Green fans after that fight. You couldn't find a Danny Green fan that thought that Danny Green won. They were dismayed as dismayed as what I was, and the hosts were. These things happen. I think it's just really disappointing that the way that happened. Normally, I'll give you an example from my amateur career. We went up to Caloundra there one night, and their local fighter, really good fighter, he was the Australian champion at the time. He defended his Australian title, and he fought a fella from Warwick, and the fella from Warwick is from a really good boxing family, and had the fight of his life, and he outboxed Caloundra's current Australian champion at the time. Everyone knew it. It's they got to the ring announcer after the fight. He got to announcing the winners and announcing the scores and so on. And the instant he said, and by split points decision, pretty much the entire crowd started to boo, because you knew what was about to happen. And sure, it happens all the time, And sure enough, the hometown fighter, he got the win. Looking at Anthony in the dressing rooms after that fight last night, the guy was crying, and you knew how much it meant to him. He'd obviously worked so hard, and the problem there is that history would show that Danny Green won. But a little bit reminiscent of anyone who's seen it, Roy Jones Jr. at the 1988 Olympics. Although Roy Jones Jr.'s one was possibly the worst and most corrupt decision of all time, and the judges all ended up getting sacked after that, and I think a few of the Olympic Committee got sacked too. But the difference is that the guy that Roy Jones Jr. fought, he immediately apologised to Roy Jones Jr. He straight away apologised to him, because he knew that Roy Jones Jr. had been wronged, and it's disappointing to know that the Danny Green, anyone that reckons that he didn't know that he was going to win that fight if he didn't get knocked out sorry, you need to maybe study boxing a little bit more. But look, it's happened, and the Danny Green fans today, I've seen a few already, they've already started to come out now and they've said, oh yeah, no, I thought it was 96, 94 and 95, 94 Danny Green, so here they come. It's going to be weight drained gate all over again, and Danny Green, he'll pop out in the next few days or a few weeks and he'll say the same. He'll say, oh yeah, look, I thought I won by 1 or 2 rounds, look, Danny Green knows that he didn't win. Danny Green's fans know that Danny Green didn't win. Anthony Mundine fans know that Danny Green didn't win. Pretty much every boxing analyst in Australia knows that Danny Green didn't win. Unfortunately, the only two of the only people in Australia that thought Danny Green won that fight happened to be sitting on judging panels. And one of them being Lauren Eagle, happened to be one of the hosts for that fight. Lauren Eagle shouldn't be able to host and commentate and give her analysis on a boxing fight ever again. In my opinion, her comments were embarrassing. To come out and say Danny Green, nah, he clearly won because he threw more punches. The boxer that throws the more punches, he wins. Nah, sorry. Because if the boxer who threw the more punches wins, I would have a 0 in my losses column from my amateur career. But that's just not the way it is. And chopped through the crispy punches. And some of the thing is, for a smaller man, it's amazing to see Danny Green on the back foot pretty much that whole fight. Danny looked beat up, he looked flat. At times he threw punches with his head down and his eyes closed. He was losing that fight and he was getting frustrated. It's just very disappointing that it had to end like that, and Anthony's career had to end like that, and Danny's career, Danny Green's career, got to end with a win in his boxing record, which shouldn't have been a win. But look, Danny Green's got to live with that, and he will live the rest of his life knowing that he didn't get beaten once by Anthony Mundine. He got beaten twice, and he had to maybe popular opinion. I would say maybe. Pay a referee off. Not pay a referee off, sorry, my correction there. To pay a judge off. He has to live with that. And Anthony has to live with that too. And I don't think that decision last night, if you want to sort of close the gap or try and make things better with people's perceptions of boxing and in particular of Anthony Mundine and his people being Aboriginals, and that's not the way to do it. That was disgusting. And I really hope that the Australian boxing fans that watched that the other night realise that that's not what boxing is all about, and they understand that these things happen. They happen in boxing. They happen in kickboxing. Anyone who's ever seen Jeff Fennick fighter Zuma Nelson in the first fight, they understand that it's been happening for a long, long time, whether it be corruption or just absolutely appalling judging. I'll stop ranting on now, and that's my review of the fight. I'm pretty disappointed, but I really hope that Australian boxing can recover from the black eye that it once again got given last night. And peace out. And I'll look forward to previewing more fights for you and reviewing more fights. And I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you.